Namaste. You are living in a palace and yet you are not happy. And then there is a person who is living in a hut. He is poor and yet he is happy. So, happiness has nothing to do with what is on the outside. Happiness has more to do with what is inside. And the second point is that it all depends on the state of your mind. A poor man may be more happy than a rich man. So it all depends on the state of your mind. And that is where moon becomes extremely important. That is why in Vedic astrology, everything is based on moon. The moon chart is extremely important. Your ascendant chart may be extremely good, but if your moon chart is disturbed, then you are not enjoying all the luxuries that you have in your life. And so in this podcast, I have talked briefly about moon in astrology, and I have also explained certain things that will help you know more about moon and its connection with all the birth cycles, the past, the present and the future. And there are many more insights in this podcast and a beautiful story for you all to understand the significance of mind in human life. So let's begin with this beautiful podcast. Moon signify mind. Just the way moon continues to change through different phases, starting from new moon day to full moon day, the human mind is also constantly changing. This is because the very nature of mind is to change. The cycle of birth and rebirth is also of the mind and not of the soul. The soul is very pure and pure consciousness. However, it is your mind that continues to drive the soul from one birth cycle to the next birth cycle. Why birth happens? Birth happens for two reasons. The first reason is the desire of your mind, and the second reason is the karmic dues that you are supposed to pay back in this birth cycle. These karmic dues are an outcome of the desires that you were chasing in the last birth. And the next cycle of karmic dues will be the outcome of the desires that you are chasing in this birth. And so the source of all our sufferings and achievements in life is desire. You came in this world with a burning desire of attaining something, reaching somewhere, and then once you have attained, once your desire is fulfilled, then you start suffering. That is why it is said that think before you desire a thing. There is every possibility that it will be fulfilled and then you will suffer. This desire that originates from the mind, that is the moon, is addressed as Rahu in astrology. Someday you should read my book, How to Overcome Rahu. And so when moon is not in good state, when moon is placed in a difficult house, or when moon is in conjunction with a malefic planet, then the quality of desire is low, which also implies that Rahu is not in a good state in your horoscope. And when Rahu is not in a good state, then the whole chart takes a negative turn. Then no matter how well other planets are placed, or if you have exalted planets in your birth chart, No matter what, the end result will be a big disappointment in your life, or your life itself will be an utter failure. And so, the very root of human life and its destiny is based on the condition of moon, that is mind. The spiritual path begins when you start moving beyond the mind. The moment the mind is completely left behind and there is only pure awareness, it is enlightenment. Always remember, there are only three mysteries: life, death, and love. And all these three are beyond mind. Your spiritual progress is gauged based on how deeply you have rooted within yourself and how much you have moved beyond the mind. When a person is overthinking, then he is still very much trapped in his mind. He still haven't yet tasted the nectar of real freedom, the nectar of joy. Yesterday Mohan asked how to move beyond the mind. And the answer is simple. It has been repeated by many saints and I will repeat it once again. The answer is start meditating daily and focus on chanting mantra on a daily basis. Mohan asked why you should chant a specific mantra or verses. Because when you start chanting a specific mantra or holy verses, then your whole focus is on one thought, the thought of the Holy Lord. And when your mind becomes one pointed on a specific mantra thought, then you attain mental strength, which in turn provides you with a clarity of thought. And it is only when you have clarity of thought that you can make right decisions and thereby attain abundance of success in life and thereafter. When you are chanting a mantra, then your whole focus is on that one thought, that one mantra. And the measure to gauge spiritual progress is based on the degree of freedom from unwanted thoughts and the degree of concentration on a single thought, that is the mantra. Mantras are thought vibrations, and so through constant chanting or repeating the mantra, you imbibe abundance of positive energy within yourself. And it is this supreme energy that help you in rising to the higher level of consciousness. And once you attain the higher consciousness, you can then control the mind and you can then go beyond the mind. And the moment you are able to experience a moment of life that is beyond the mind, that is when you truly come face to face with the ultimate truth, God consciousness. God is the ultimate consciousness. In the East, we address consciousness as Krishna consciousness. In the West, it is addressed as Christ consciousness. In the Far East, it is addressed as Buddha consciousness. The names change based on culture and faith, but what remains is the supreme consciousness, God consciousness. And so every human being is born with a specific position or state of moon in his or her birth chart. The whole purpose of life, the whole graph of happiness in life, and even the physical diseases of human life is primarily based on the state of moon in your birth chart. And so the moon chart becomes extremely important in the affairs of human life. The moon chart is the blueprint of what you have attained in your past life and what you intend to attain in your present life and life thereafter. In Vedic astrology, every aspect of human life is evaluated based on the position of moon in your birth chart. Starting with the name of the newborn baby to the nakshatra in which the baby is born and the nakshatra in which a person dies, all of it is based on the position of moon. Moon sign, moon nakshatra becomes extremely significant. Similarly, the Mahadasha period is also based on the nakshatra in which your moon is placed. And so, your whole life's journey and destiny is based on the condition of the moon in your birth chart. When you are enjoying a very good phase of your life, you tend to commit many sins. Because the more the man seeks pleasure and power, the more he is bound to commit mistakes and sins in life. However, tell me, what if you come to know that you are going to die in 7 days? Then you will not be much interested in seeking pleasures or in seeking power. So it all depends on the state of the mind. The moment the mind realizes that death is near, it stops the mad rush. It becomes more sober, more understanding, more compassionate, more relaxed. Reminds me of a beautiful story. A man used to come to a great saint and he would always ask, "Sir, one thing puzzles me. You are so innocent, so pure. How is this possible?" Suspicion arises in my mind that maybe you simply pretend. In this world of corruption, how can one be so pure and innocent and so virgin? How can one avoid being corrupted by the world? Maybe deep down you still carry the same thing, but on the surface you have maintained it. You have maintained it well. One day the man came. He again started to say the same thing, and the master said, "Listen, there is something more important to be said to you. Just show me your hand." He looked at his hand, became very sad, closed his eyes, and started to cry. The man said, "What is the matter? Why are you crying, sir? I have never seen you crying." He said, "I am crying because only 7 days are left. Within 7 days you will be gone. Your lifeline is cut. Next Sunday you will die. That's why I am crying. Now you can ask whatsoever you want to ask. You wanted to ask something." The man said, "I have forgotten. You have disturbed me very much. Only 7 days?" Now this master was so loved by people, so much respected, that there was no reason to suspect that he would tell a lie. The man rushed home, fell ill, didn't move from his bed for 7 days, was sinking every day, stopped eating, could not sleep. The relatives gathered. On the 7th day, they were just waiting, because the master had said that as the sun sets, he would die. And there was just half an hour to go. The sun was just coming down, and relatives and friends and the wife and the children were crying, and the man was just sinking into death. Then the master came and said to the man, "I have one question to ask. In these 7 days, have you committed anything that you used to call sin, impurity, corruption, this and that? Did any idea come into your mind, any worldly idea?" The man opened his eyes with great difficulty. He said, "What are you talking about? I am dying. How can a man have any ideas of sin or of the world when he is dying? Only death was there around me. In these 7 days, there was not a single worldly desire in me. I was only thinking of God. I was praying, repeating God's name." The master laughed. He said, "You can get up. You are not going to die. That was only a design to show you why I am pure. Death surrounds me continuously. What does it matter whether it is coming in 7 days or 7 years or 70 years? It doesn't matter. It is only a question of time. It is coming. That much is certain. It is coming. When death is coming, this becomes very, very clear to your consciousness. Life goes through a great change, a radical change. The man started laughing. He said, "You played a joke." He was perfectly okay. Within minutes he was okay. But he said, "Master, one thing, how could you lie?" The master said, "It is neither a lie nor a truth. It is a design, a Naqshbandi." Naqshbandi means Sufi. It also refers to the Naqshbandi Sufi order, a major spiritual path that emphasizes silent meditation and remembrance. So you see, in reality the man had no disease, but because his mind accepted the fact that he is going to die in 7 days, he became sick and bedridden. So you can imagine how much is dependent on the state of the mind, the moon. Always remember, the mind's desire, the mind's nature and its quality goes on changing in every birth cycle. And so change is constant. Every birth cycle you arrive with a different position of moon. And so the moon signs and moon nakshatras keep changing in every birth cycle. And so if you have a difficult placement of moon in this birth cycle, then there is no need to fear. With proper guidance and consistent spiritual practice, you can pave the way towards a better future. The state of your mind, that is the moon, would shape positively in future birth cycles. Karma is of 3 types: Sanchit karma, Prarabdha karma and Kriyaman karma. Sanchit karma is the collection of all the past birth cycles. Prarabdha karma is the collection of your past birth cycle, whereas Kriyaman karma is connected to the karma that you do on a daily basis, and so Kriyaman karma is known as the present day karma. Astrology or spiritual remedies help you in improvising your Kriyaman karma through specific remedies such as chanting a mantra on daily basis, donating food and performing specific religious rituals to appease the god and goddesses. Everything is possible in this human life. A sinner can transform into a great saint. Saint Valmiki in the early years of his life was a thief, but later he was transformed into a great saint. And it was Saint Valmiki who scripted one of the most holiest scriptures of the Hindus, the Ramayana. The Ramayana is a beautiful divine narration of the life story of Lord Ram. Even Saint Paul was a very arrogant person in his early years of life, but later he was transformed into a great saint. His name was Saul, but later he became Saint Paul. So Saul becomes Paul, and it was Saint Paul who built the churches in Europe. Remember, every saint has a past and every sinner has a future. Never condemn anybody. Never be quick to judge anybody, because life is constant change. Except for change, everything else changes. And so people change as their stars change, and as they become more and more aware of their actions. Awareness is the key to all the life problems that you have. And so get started with daily meditation and daily mantra chanting. Chant the powerful soothing mantra. Om Shri Kala Bhairavaya Namaha. Om Shri Kala Bhairavaya Namaha. Chant the Vishnu mantra. Om Vishnave Namaha. Om Vishnave Namaha. Chant the Ganesha mantra. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Always remember, there is always somebody watching you and somebody out there who cares for you. And that somebody is nobody else than the good old God. This is my 4th year on this channel. 4 years ago in 2020, I started with this podcast channel. And I would like to thank all my well-wishers and followers across the globe. I never knew that my life journey would bring me so far. It is the blessings of my benevolent Guru that in spite of losing my mother, my father at the age of 14 and becoming homeless, that I was able to complete my masters in English literature, that I was able to learn software technology, and that I was able to pursue MBA from IIM. During the early years of my life, I also traveled to many Western countries, including the US. But the real change, the real turning point in my life came when I started turning inwards. With absolutely no family, no relatives, no father, no mother, and with just a small suitcase in my hand, at the age of 14, I started my life journey from the streets of Pune. My life journey is in itself a good example for all of you, especially those who have been suffering in their life. Always remember, suffering is the sole origin of consciousness. And so suffering is a blessing in disguise. During my early years of life journey, many people ridiculed me. Some even casted dirty black magic spells on me. Some even tried to kill me. But it was my compassionate Guru, the Divine Master, who saved me from all the storms of life. All you need is faith and patience. Shraddha or Saburi, says Sai Baba. And so, remembering the compassionate Master, I now rest at his feet. May his blessing continue to guide me and to all my followers around the world. May we all continue to progress on our path. When you stop worrying about the destination and when you start enjoying the journey, that is when I would say that you are on the right track. Remember, it is the journey that one should enjoy and not bother about the destination. The longing for the Lord is the journey. Merging with the Lord is the destination. If you ask me, I am not much concerned about merging with the Lord. Instead, I am more inclined towards rejoicing in the longing for the Lord. The real juice of life is in the longing. When your eyes become wet, when you cry out of love, devotion, when your heart beats with gratitude, that is when you are with God. Once an old man from ISKCON spontaneously messaged me, I am on journey towards God. Are you coming with me? I also spontaneously replied, my journey is not towards God. My journey is with God. Jai Sri Ganesha, Jai Guru.
ॐ गं गणपतये नमः। ॐ गं गणपतये नमः। ॐ गं गणपतये नमः।